Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I am Steve Smith. First off, welcome to all of the new subscribers, both on YouTube and on Patreon. Great to have you here. We encourage you to participate if you like through the comment section. Ask you be polite, be nice, be constructive. Don't pick arguments or fights or try to put anybody down, and we'll all be fine. There's been a lot of talk about what's going on with our country, Civil War, Revolution, whatever, and we kind of go back for any new people. We kind of go back and forth on this channel. I do not back and forth on our beliefs or on our principles or anything, but just kind of depending on what's the situation of the day. I just put up one, I think the last one was stop being so worried about everything all the time and start living instead of, hiding in in kind of a woe is me defensive survival attitude. And I stay with that. You should maintain a positive outlook. Today, I'm going to go back to the other side and say, well, we also have things to worry about. Or to at least take seriously, to concern ourselves with. I'll put it that way. I don't necessarily worry. I don't find myself worrying much about anything, but there are things that are worthy of concern, and we want to address those and keep those in our sights, as it were. Today I want to talk about, did you all know that tomorrow is Bill of Rights Day, I believe? We'll have a little bit more on that tomorrow, but I wanted to read something here. Dr. Simone Gold, if you're familiar with her, she was the founder of America's Frontline Doctors, and she spoke recently at the Restoration Weekend about fighting tyranny. This is at the David Horowitz Freedom Center's 2021 Restoration Weekend that happened last month. And she gave just an excellent speech. I'm going to read a little bit of it here, and then I'll tell where you can get the rest of it, and you really should. I'll just start here. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs because it will show you exactly where we're going with this, and it's going to give you all something to chew on, to kind of think of and comment on. Let us know where you think we are in this. She starts here, and I'm reading here. We are really giving birth to a new movement here, a movement where we fight back. She says, now the fight we are in my estimation, is really the second Revolutionary War. So she's taking the position that it's not coming, it's here. We're simply in the first baby steps. And some of you might argue that the baby steps were some time ago. I won't argue with that. We can all come down on different parts of a spectrum, depending on what we individually think. And I won't pick bones on any of that. So she says, because the reality is we're living under a tyranny that we never thought was possible in America. That's true. We have lost almost all of our constitutional rights. I think many people here, if not most, would agree with that. We only retain, with a big struggle, the Second Amendment. What do I mean, she asks. The First Amendment, the freedom of religion. We saw that go by the wayside this past year. Free speech, which is what I was doing. Free press, which is completely corrupted and a monopoly, doesn't exist. The right to peacefully assemble. Fourth Amendment. Bodily integrity. Fifth Amendment. Due process. Sixth Amendment. Speedy and public trial. Seventh Amendment. A right to a jury trial. Eighth. No excessive bail. Cruel and unusual punishment. We've heard many speakers already about the January 6th defendants who are being held pre-trial. That's gone. These things are as strong and inviolate a law as we have in America, and they have just been abrogated. They've disappeared. I'll read one more couple of sentences here, then I'll say a couple of things. It says, how have we lost so many constitutional rights? Marxists take down the nation in 4 steps. demoralization, disorientation, crisis, and then the promise of normalization. We know those steps. We've talked about those steps before. All the disorientation you've been experiencing in the past 20 months were all based upon lies told by scientists and politicians. And it's hard to tell the difference sometimes, isn't it? It's gotten people very disoriented. She says something there that doesn't really matter. I'll skip it because she kind of repeated herself. She says, because you're living in it in real time, and you think, well, that wasn't what they said a couple of months ago, right? It's literally 1984, George Orwellian. This is a great speech. I've posted the whole thing, including the video, which was pulled down on another site. I hope it'll stay up on my Patreon site, but it had to go over to Rumble. Anyway, I put it over on the Patreon channel. For those of you who are already Patreon patrons, you know where to go. For those of you who may not be, I always put the link down here. I welcome you over there. It's $1 a month, and I put a lot of stuff over there that doesn't go onto YouTube and things that some of my own stuff, other people's stuff, things on the news that you may not run across, occasionally some music. But I think it's well worth your dollar and well worth your time, if for no other reason. This particular speech by Dr. Gold. So head on over there and catch the whole thing if you want. It's well worth your time. How we think about where we are in the process of our country. I spoke the other day about how things are better in some ways, Second Amendment wise, than I remember them being 30, 40 years ago. Some people disagree. I think people who were younger than I that didn't realize how much more restrictive the gun laws used to be than now didn't realize that. That doesn't mean that we're headed in the right direction. Just because we have a couple of victories here and again, doesn't mean that we're headed in the right direction as a country. I think we all know that we are, for the most part, headed in the wrong direction. How it shakes out, we don't know yet. Are we headed towards a dissolution of the republic? Are we headed towards a fragmentation? Are we headed towards a devolution, a revolution, a civil war? Too early to know. I think there's a lot more that's going to go on. I mean, this is a process that, even though we've seen things go faster than we ever could have imagined in the last year or so, I think that it's one of those things that just takes a lot of time. But because it takes a lot of time, it behooves us to stay up with what's going on, to continue talking with each other, to get other people's opinions on this. Talk with people whose opinions you respect. Don't listen to the blowhards. There's plenty of those who come up with simplistic slogans because they have simple minds. But good, rational, intelligent discussion is what's important now, with everybody taking part in it. This is a conversation that needs everybody in it, because when as it continues to slow roll and then perhaps faster roll later on, you don't want to be surprised at what's happening. We see what's happening across the world. We see what's happening in Australia. We see what's happening in Germany. We see what's happening in Austria. These are things that, again, a year ago, nobody not on the fringes, let me say that, would have anticipated or projected, and yet they're happening. So these things can happen fast. I think it's going to take a while, but you can wake up one morning and go, whoa, that happened fast since last night, and all of a sudden we're in a situation we didn't foresee, or at least we didn't foresee having to deal with this soon. So anyway, read this if you want to go over there. Think about where you think we are in the process. Share your thoughts down there, and all I will say with all of this is general and advanced preparedness is going to put you in a good situation to be able to withstand whatever is going on. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow. I'll leave you with our constant thought, and that is that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So think about what those preparations need to be. They need to be everything so as to be able to divorce yourself from dependence on the greater system around you that really does not have your best interest at heart. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.